considered the patron saints of Petropavl? What is the history of the oldest building in the city? What shrines are kept in the north of Kazakhstan? All this in the new episode of Welcome to Kazakhstan Project.
Казахстан – многонациональная страна.
Kazakhstan is a multinational country in which representatives of different religions are treated with great respect. An excellent example is Petropavl, where a mosque, a Catholic church and an Orthodox church can stand on the same street. Today we will tell you about one of the sacred symbols of this city. This is Welcome to Kazakhstan Project. My name is Zakirjan Mamlutov. Let's broaden our horizons. July the 12th, 1752 is the date of St. Peter's Fortress foundation, from which the history of Petropavl begins. In Orthodoxy, this day is associated with the veneration of the holy apostles, Peter and Paul. Hence the belief that it was they who became the holy defendants of the new city. Today, almost nothing remains of that very fortress, as well as of the first soldiers' church, but we can still learn something about it.
Была построена солдатская церковь.
First, the soldiers' church was built, wooden soldiers' church. It was consecrated in honor of the apostles Peter and Paul. But the wooden church was dismantled, and a soldiers' one was built, also consecrated in honor of the holy apostles Peter and Paul, but this time made of stone. It must be said that unfortunately, to our great regret, almost nothing is left of our fortress at the moment. We know that there is this historical place. It has survived. Probably the only thing that has survived is a man-made earth rampart, which was made by the fortress builders in 1752.
Вал, который был насыпан руками строителей крепости в 1752 году.
Сегодня на территории, где некогда стояла крепость, располагается завод.
Today, on the territory where the fortress once stood, there is a factory. The brick wall is the only reminder of the place from which the city once began. There is also a worship cross with a commemorative inscription. Here, on the site of Petropavl city's foundation, in July 1772, a fortress church was built in the name of the holy apostles, Peter and Paul. The Cathedral of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul was founded in 1803 and at that time was called the Pokrov Cossack Church. The construction was not easy. In 1812 everything was dismantled and on October 22, 1813, in the same place but with some reduction, a new stone three-altar church was started. The main altar, of course, was in honor of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul, the northern one in honor of the Holy Miracle Worker Nicholas, and the southern one in honor of the protection of the Most Holy Virgin. One of the main reasons for the change in urban architecture is fire. This kind of disaster did not pass our cathedral either. In 1838, the stone bell tower was badly damaged by fire. It was dismantled, and in 1844 a new one was laid, standing separately from the church, connected to it by a stone corridor. The church was surrounded by stone fence with cast iron lattice.
Этот храм был казачий, здесь была казачья слобода, в основном ходили сюда казаки.
This temple was Cossack. There was a Cossack settlement. Mostly Cossacks visited here, and they prayed and made decorations. In my youth, I have met an old woman who told me that this temple was one of the most richly decorated cathedrals in the city of Petropavl. But the 20th century came, the 17th year came, and the red wheel swept across the country and, of course, rolled through our city as well. Of the 7 temples, 5 were demolished. By some miracle, 2 churches remained in our city. In the center of the city, there is the Church of All Saints, and here in Podgora, as this micro-district is called, the Cathedral of Peter and
В
Paul.
городе остались 2 храма. В центре города храм всех святых. И вот здесь, под горой, как называется этот микрорайон, собор Петра и Павла.
The cathedral, to a certain extent, was lucky. It was given to the Department of the Regional Industry. Here they baked bread, pies, stored seeds for oil production. Later, they began to produce low-quality tobacco in the building. And only after the war, in 1946, at the request of the believers, the building was returned to the community.
К моменту восстановления храм являл собой печальное зрелище.
By the time of restoration, the temple was a sad sight. The iconostases and altar were destroyed. The paintings on the walls were covered with a layer of soot and dirt. In front of the central altar, up to the dome itself, there was a huge chimney. Only by 1952, the parishioners managed to restore all this.
Конечно, о наличии церкви в любом городе.
Of course, we learn about the presence of a church in any city by the bell ringing. The largest bell of the Peter and Paul Cathedral weighs 1,200 kilograms. It was cast in Nizhny Tagil. Stainless steel crosses were made in Chelyabinsk.
Каждый день я поднимаюсь на колокольню, и мы совершаем звон. Для начала мы звоним.
Every day I go up to the bell tower and we ring. First we ring 3 bells. This is the pedal for the upper bell, which we cannot see from here. This is the pedal for the lower, largest bell. We ring it every 3 minutes. This is how the bell ringing before the beginning of the service is made. Then over time we add ringing, increase it, and the ringing is obtained from these 2 bells, the upper and the lower bells. This ringing symbolizes the Lord's calling to the service. Thus we call the parishioners to come serve in the temple. Then chimes are added over time. They create a festive melody, and the ringing becomes so much more solemn.
И звон такой уже становится более торжественный.
There is a real shrine in the cathedral. On July 11th, 2012, an ark with the relics of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul was delivered to Petropavl from Almaty. These relics were donated by the Vice-Rector of the Pontifical Oriental Institute in Rome, Professor of Russian Church History Konstantin Simon. The great shrine was donated to the residents of Petropavl for the 260th anniversary of the city's foundation. The area around the temple is the oldest part of the city. It's no wonder that very close on Potanin Street, the construction of a thematic park began, taking us to the 19th century. The mill and the well with the crane are already installed. The facades of private houses have been updated because some of them are more than 100 years old. And of course, sitting down to rest in the historic park, the first thing you notice is the golden domes of the cathedral in the blue sky.
Хорошо, когда город.
It's good when a city keeps its history, and even better when, having passed through the centuries, having gone through the test of time, history remains with us in the form of majestic buildings, like the Cathedral of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul.